Hello and welcome to Progressive Cast. I am Collin.
And I'm Alex.
We are the Bearded Bards, and today we're going to talk about Donald J. Trump.
Tiny hands.
Donald Tiny Hands. Yep.
First off, a very begrudging congratulations to the new president of the United States. Regardless of what I feel about him, he is the president, and that's a thing.
Yeah, that's an achievement. It's an achievement I didn't want him to get, but it's an achievement. So
I'm not happy he achieved it. But
yeah. Congratulations and a bigger fuck you. And
much bigger fuck you.
Let's get into the news.
So currently it's 11:17 p.m. on Inauguration Day, and we're just kind of really depressed.
Yeah, it's been 11 hours. We just recorded the Obama episode, so.
Yeah, it's about an hour ago. We played around on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Check that out if you haven't already.
Please, in fact, check that one out because that one's probably going to be a lot less depressing than what we're about to talk about.
And it was pretty depressing.
Yeah, Obama's not that great.
But he passed.
Yeah.
Passing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about to see.
He did better than I expect the next one to do.
Yeah. So this is rough, and we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're all fucked.
I don't know if we're fucked.
Oh,
we went through 8 years. Jeez. I wish it were only 4. We went through 8 years of George W., and that was pretty tragic, but I think we can survive 4 of Trump. I hope, actually. Fingers crossed, I'm not sure.
4, hopefully not 8, definitely hopefully not
I think
all of them.
I think we just need to do 2, and then we can get, if we can get in the interns a bunch of progressives elected, we can shut them down for the other 2.
Yeah, that's going to be another cast, though, the seats opening and how, even though that's a great idea, it doesn't look fantastic. But
it doesn't. We'll
get past there. We got a lot of things to talk about. So before we get into the stuff that we wanted to talk about, do you want to make any comments about the inauguration? Because at this point in time, it's over.
Yeah. It was pretty standard, very depressing. His speech was sort of... It wasn't... It was a fine speech, but I think none of it was genuine.
Yeah, he had a moderate Republican speech written for him where he said almost nothing about anything, and you could tell that it wasn't the explosive orangutan that we're used to. A lot of people say that they think Steve Bannon wrote his speech. I disagree. I think
No. If Steve Bannon did it, would be more... Well, let's not get into that.
Yeah, it would sound like Alex Jones wrote it, but that's just my thing.
It's not human intelligence.
It's not human intelligence whatsoever.
That's an Alex Jones reference.
We really need to talk just for a second about how few people actually went to Washington, D.C. to watch history be made.
Yeah,
because it's disgusting that he's so unpopular, and I'm gonna.
He was at 40% today. 40% popularity.
A little bit under. In fact, I think it was like 36.
I think it was 38.
38. That's fine.
38 sounds right. So historically low. Like even George W. Bush in his second got way more people to show up to his second inauguration. Obama blew him out of the water with both of his inaugurations, but Obama was kind of a landmark president.
But as somebody that respects politics and respects history, I'm kind of disappointed with the turnout, not because we should legitimize his crazy ideas, but because that event marks a pivotal point in our history, and I just expected more people to want to see it.
Yeah, I agree and I disagree. I agree because, yeah, it's important and it's something that people should want to go see, but at the same time, I think, well, let's be real, let's not give him that ego boost, being like, oh, I had so many people at my inaugurations. I'm sure...
He's going to say that anyway.
He's going to say it anyway. He's going to say that he had tremendous amounts of people at his inauguration, but it's just not true. He had, I think the current estimate's around 500,000, where Obama had 1.8 million in his first,
and then
1 million.
Okay,
no, it was just 1 million in his second. So he kind of, it was dead in Washington, D.C. today, and it was kind of hilarious. I think there were more people there actually protesting him than actually like going there to support him.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of the people that live in DC or work in DC were saying that it was like a normal day. The subways were just as crowded. The lines were
I love this.
exactly as long.
Around, I don't remember when it was, but the Washington D.C. Metro put out a tweet, like transportation department or whatever it was, saying like none of the parking garages were more than a third full.
And a new person took over the most powerful position in the world.
Yeah, and it was an all-day thing, and like the inauguration went fine, but the person who was inaugurated is not fine. Yeah.
And let's talk about why this person is not fine, and I guess maybe start with some of his pre-election talk. Let's talk about his enormous, huge wall.
Yeah, he's gonna build a huge, tremendous wall.
It's gonna have a beautiful door.
And there's going to be a big, beautiful door. I don't know how big this door's going to be. I don't even know how big this wall's going to be. Because right after the election, it then turned into, maybe a shorter wall.
And then a fence.
And then a double-layer fence.
And now it's back to a wall.
Now it's back to a wall. Who knows? Apparently, we'll probably find out soon, though.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the wall thing is still an issue. When he first, won the election and started...
I'm surprised that, no one's just... I'm sure they have, but he hasn't, listened when someone says, hey, actually, they've done studies on this and we're losing more immigrants than we're gaining.
The idiot in chief does not listen to facts. Facts don't matter.
Well, not to him. To us, facts matter. So we're going to bust out some facts all up in his ass.
I love just, all the quotes against the wall. You say $4 billion, but it's $25 billion.
You say Mexico's going to pay for it.
Only if you mean Mexico is the American citizens.
Yeah. Or let's be real, the only way he could get Mexico to pay for it
is if they were keeping out Americans.
No, it's if he threatens war.
And even then, I don't think they would do it. Because I think
they would. You don't want the American military knocking on your door. I don't care who you are.
I think they try to call his bluff. I don't know if it works out well for him. I don't know anything about any of his policies because he lies so often that
he says everything.
He
flip-flops more than the actual shoe style flip-flops.
There's no trusting anything he says. There's no reading into his words because he says whatever's on the top of his head, and he obviously means something different than what he says all the time, 100%.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean... What really more is there to say about it? We still don't know much about it. We don't know how tall it's going to be.
32 feet.
32 feet?
That's what he said during the campaign, at least. It was going to be 32
Yeah, but then
feet.
He's like, oh, it just got a bit higher. And then it turned into a fence, and you're not going to build a 32-foot fence. I love how
it's going to be double-layered.
I love, during one of the debates, he's just like, there'll be no way, they might use a ladder to get up, and then there won't be any way to get down. Maybe a rope.
Maybe. It's like he was having that internal argument in his head. Is a wall actually going to do what we think it is? Yeah, because they won't be able to get up. Oh, wait, ladders. But they won't be able to get down. Yeah, they will. Yeah.
It's going to do absolutely nothing. Not to mention, most of the illegal immigrants came here legally and just
visas.
Outstayed their visas. So you're not going to stop anyone.
Okay.
If anything, you're going to prevent people from going back.
I heard a really interesting theory. We know that Tiny Hands' brother died from, I think, alcohol abuse.
Yeah.
And we know that he's got a very strict moral code against drugs. That's maybe the only thing that we actually know he has a morality on. The wall...
It's an act.
The wall might at least seem to somebody uneducated as a way to keep drugs out of America from Mexico. That might be the real reason he's pushing for it, because he is very anti-drug, and I don't think that's an act. I think that's a fact.
All right. Well, maybe, but
everything points to that being completely genuine for him. That's the only thing that I feel comfortable saying is genuine about him. That and his hair is obviously natural and real.
Actually, I think it is. If it's a toupee, then it's sewn on.
It might be, because I've seen that thing fly, though.
Have you?
like
I,
like flip up, not like all the way out. But I don't.
I think that's just because his hair's really thin. But
That might be.
nevertheless, Trump's hair aside. Um,
So yeah, the only thing that even makes any sense whatsoever with the wall is if he's trying to use it to keep drugs out, and obviously that's not actually effective, but
Yeah.
it sounds effective. It like you could make arguments that it is effective if you're dumb, but he is dumb.
Yeah, he's pretty dumb.
Speaking of dumb things that Trump wants to do or doesn't want to care about at all, so you know that cool environment thing that we have?
Oh man, I love the environment.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Trees and shit.
He doesn't love trees or anything about trees.
Did you just were you?
I was about to say trees or shit. Yes.
A few people love shit.
He might. He's.
I mean, hey, if you're into that, golden showers.
Didn't think we were gonna go there again,
it's fake. We all know it's fake.
I love that. There was a Reddit post that claimed that this.
Jokes.
We sent it to him, and we didn't think this would go that far. But yeah, so he doesn't believe in climate change. In fact, says it's a Chinese hoax. He took off the section on the WhiteHouse.gov that listed problems. He took climate change on as well as some other things that we'll probably talk about.
Yeah,
off of it.
Within the first 2 hours,
he's hired people and appointed people that luckily have not been put in place yet, but at least some of them probably will, that are staunch climate change deniers.
Yep.
And he is going to deregulate businesses and fuck the environment. So I hope you don't plan on having kids.
Yeah.
Because their planet is fucked.
If you're planning on having kids,
you might want to stop.
Pro tip, don't.
Yeah, I mean, for probably a lot of reasons for you at least, but seriously, they the inauguration of President Obama Trump, the inauguration of President Trump, we wish.
It's still fresh.
Yeah, it hurts. Might mark the day that the environment started its slow descent into permadeath.
Yep. So, good luck. Good luck.
Good luck to us as well. I mean, we're all fucked in this. And businesses are machines, and they don't care about the environment because they're making money now. So, it's not like they're going to regulate themselves.
Yeah.
The Paris agreements, they're gone. Already gone.
Trump's been talking about, like, we have large untapped oil in the United States, and so we're going to embrace that, and we're going to basically, what my prediction would be is give that land to oil companies and then just let them have the oil. What really, I mean, it's not going to be something like, oh, make a socialized oil company and
even
give back to the American people. No, you can't do that because
selling
social, isn't it?
Selling that land or profiting off of the oil and using that for
I'm sorry,
meant like infrastructure or healthcare or anything like that. That would be way better, even though you're still fucking the environment. We should go to clean energy, and we could totally do that.
We absolutely could do that. We have tons of people who are way smarter than me. I am working on an engineering degree, and I'm early on, but they're leagues ahead of me.
Give all the money to Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye, and
you don't even have to tell them what to do; they'll know.
They have a good idea of what they would do with it anyway. In fact, give all the money to Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk, just like
the closest thing.
Officially a government contractor now. Elon Musk.
Oh yeah.
SpaceX.
Point of credit where it's due. Trump and Elon Musk talk.
Do they?
Yes. In fact, there was a big meeting with a lot of the big tech insiders, and Elon Musk basically ran that meeting with Trump involved. So Elon Musk has talked to Donald Trump. Maybe he'll talk some sense into him because obviously with the Tesla project and SpaceX, that guy knows what's up.
Yeah, he's
personal hero.
He's way smarter than I can even comprehend. The dude just like reads a book a day or something like that.
I mean, he invents a new product a day.
Yeah, he did a interview where he's just like the person asked him like, "How do you know how to do all these things?" He's like, "You haven't gotten a degree like officially," and he's just like, "Oh, I just think, hey, I want to learn more about electric cars, and then I read a bunch of books, and then I make electric cars.
And that I can make electric cars. So, yeah, short story. The Earth is fucked unless Elon Musk saves us all.
Elon, you're our only hope.
And he's got a lot of stuff on his brain, and Donald Trump, I think, just denies climate. My big thing is that his daughter, who he obviously loves probably too much, does not deny climate change, says it's one of the biggest issues facing us, and he seems to really trust her, and yet he doesn't listen to her on this.
That's yet to be seen. I have hope that he'll come around.
I don't have hope in anything at this point.
I have
because I'm looking at the names on my screen.
Yeah, all right. We gonna get into those names?
Yeah, if you want to cry. So, another thing that Donald Trump will probably ruin the lives of millions with is his cabinet picks. Now, long story short, for those who don't really understand the government, the president's main job is to veto bills and to appoint people to run actual government. So, Donald Trump doesn't do too much day to day.
That's very oversimplified.
Oh yeah,
but,
super.
Yeah.
Super. He doesn't. I mean, but he doesn't do too much day to day that'll affect your lives. Who does do things day to day are his cabinet picks and his department head picks.
Yep, the people who he employs. So we're gonna get into who Trump has picked.
Yeah, and we're gonna highlight some of the more inflammatory ones because all of them are bad. Not all of them are the same amount of bad, and hopefully these people at least will not get confirmed by the Senate, but I don't have any hope for Republicans either. So, Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Just quick clarification. We're going to start with the ones that require Senate confirmation, then we'll hit on a couple who don't.
Yeah, that's very true. The people that have either already been confirmed, there's 2 of those by the Senate, or the people that he doesn't need anybody to be able to tell him yes or no. Which, we need people to be able to tell him yes or no.
So, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the top law enforcer.
Also, a racist who said he used to really like the KKK
and then
he found out that they smoked weed. You know how about 8 states have legalized marijuana?
Yeah,
that's over.
Yeah, that's
if he becomes the Attorney General.
Smoke it while you got it, guys.
Yeah, blaze up, because if he gets confirmed, and I watched all of his confirmation hearing, there's a good chance he doesn't, based on how they talk, but also Republicans.
Yeah.
You can kiss marijuana goodbye. You can. I guarantee you that.
He's not going to do much for race relations.
It will become a lot harder for non-white people to vote. He's got a bad record with just everything. I mean, he says that the ALCU are terrorists.
Yeah, he's
really bad.
Not a good guy. He apparently also had a black employee at one point, or like a advisor or something. I don't remember his exact role. But called him boy. Told him, you gotta watch what you say around white people.
Yeah. So the first, in my opinion, and not necessarily the worst, we'll get to her, but the first of his cabinet of deplorables. Then we have the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, who was the head of the ExxonMobil branch of Russia. Not only...
And of America, right? I thought he was just the CEO.
I know for a fact he was the head of Russia. I'm thinking he was the CEO of America too, but I don't want to overstep my bounds. He has a Medal of Friendship from Vladimir Putin and has never worked in government in his entire life.
But he does know oil.
He gets oil.
He loves him some oil.
Yeah, he probably bathes in oil the way you look. He's got no experience. The only experience that he has in dealing with foreign people is getting good oil deals, which he was really good at.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Exxon did really well for a while. But you appointed somebody who's on great terms with Russia, who's never done this before, and is an oiler.
Yeah, he appointed an oil exec to the head of diplomacy.
Yeah. And so...
He has no experience with diplomacy.
And so...
At all.
Tillerson's entire job is basically going to be to use American diplomacy to make oil companies money. And that's exactly what Donald Trump wants. Because oil companies give Donald Trump money, and Donald Trump needs money.
Not to mention, he had a $500 trillion deal with Russia.
Billion? I don't think it was trillion. Trillion's a lot.
Yeah, it was billion.
Yeah.
I was thinking $500 billion, and then, yeah.
Yep, it just kind of...
500 billion. My bad. And then that was shut down by the sanctions on Russia after they tried to, take the Ukraine for themselves.
So those sanctions are gone. The Ukraine is now going to be Russia's, as well as a lot of the other post-Soviet states. And we get oil from Russia now, I guess.
Maybe.
Maybe he just gets a lot of money.
Maybe they sell it somewhere that's not the United States, because that's exactly what Exxon would do, right?
I mean, anything to make them money. But remember, he gave money to Trump, and Trump needs money. We'll talk about how much money Trump needs a little bit later. It's staggering.
It's a lot of money.
The head of Housing and Urban Development, Ben Carson, who may be less intelligent than Donald Trump, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Has a picture on his wall. This has nothing to do with his ability to run housing and urban development. I find this scary and funny at the same time.
This is hilarious.
Has a picture of himself waist-tugging Jesus in his home.
Yeah, it's a funny picture. If you haven't seen it, look it up.
If you're watching this on YouTube, maybe Collin puts it in the video. I don't know.
I don't know how
I don't
to do
edit
that yet. I don't know how to do that, so don't count on it.
This man's the entire idea of Ben Carson being in charge of housing and urban development is that he's lived in a house and he's black.
Well, yeah, basically a bunch of Republicans after he was named was just like, oh, yeah, he's black. He knows about, public housing, right?
Yeah, Ben Carson has definitely lived in Section 8 housing before.
Except he didn't.
No, absolutely not. 100%.
Actually, never in his life, surprisingly. He's a brain surgeon.
And I find it funny that one of the people that campaigned the hardest for Donald Trump and was, really pro-Donald Trump after, losing the Republican nomination to Donald Trump, is going to be in charge, super close friends, really, Ben Carson worked for Donald Trump, is going to be in charge of the one area of government that Donald Trump has actual experience in, housing.
Yeah.
So, I'm afraid that Donald Trump's company, who definitely run by his kids and not him.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely in a blind, not that blind, sort of colorblind trust. Can we call it a colorblind trust?
I mean,
because you can definitely still see, but it's
it's shaded.
It's
it's shaded differently.
Red blue colorblind.
Red green.
Red green.
I mean, red blue might exist. I don't want to. I'd get roasted if it did, and I said it didn't, but I don't think it exists at all. What I'm afraid of is that Danny Tynahan's friend Ben Carson is going to let the Trump company build housing with government money so that they can make money. Yeah,
and then during his hearing, he said, I think the most revealing thing about the Trump candidate's presidency. He said, my intention will not be to do anything that helps any American.
I mean, you're taking that out of context.
Well, he was asked if anything he did would be to benefit Trump or his children, and he said, it will not be my intention to do anything to help any American, which,
I mean,
look, it might just be bad wording, but, come on.
Benefit of the doubt, Ben Carson's just really dumb.
Yeah, he's not a smart person.
Did you see the interview he was doing on TV where he's
like, oh, my luggage.
My luggage.
I've lost my luggage, and just walks away.
Just ends the interview there. Okay. So
gotta go back to Florida and get a change of clothes.
So here's a funny thing. Guess who's gonna be in charge of the Department of Energy?
Ooh, could it be someone who said he wanted to destroy the Department of Energy?
No. No president would ever do. Oh wait, Trump nominated Rick Perry to be the head of the Department of Energy,
who, when first asked, could not remember the name of the Department of Energy,
and also said he wanted to get rid of it.
and then later said he wanted to get rid of it. So, yeah.
Now,
and
understand something.
I think the most interesting thing about Rick Perry is what he said in the past couple days.
Fill me in.
Okay. During his hearing, he said, I didn't really know what the Department of Energy did, and now there's no way that I would want to get rid of it, and I will do my best to maintain it.
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious. He had no idea that the head of the Department of Energy, like the Department of Energy, was in charge of like maintaining our nuclear weapons and everything like that. Like, he had no clue. I don't know who he thought nuclear things went under. I guess maybe he thought it was defense, but nope, that's Department of Energy.
It was either the Treasury, Labor, or Housing. That's where he thought they were.
Yeah.
No, probably in Housing.
I could see someone as stupid as Rick Perry thinking it was the EPA.
Or Agriculture, honestly. They hide nukes everywhere.
Agriculture. Yeah, it's under that cornfield in Nebraska.
So
it's agriculture.
Not to isolate anybody, but Rick Perry is a crazy gun wielder.
He's not smart. He's basically in this position because he likes oil.
Oil and nukes.
Oil and nukes.
Yeah.
Mostly oil. He's on the board of some oil company. Or at least he was.
I'm pretty sure that 90% of the people that will work for Donald Trump are on the board of some oil company. And also probably an
or
executive.
some Wall Street bank.
And probably both, and also an executive at Coke.
Probably.
To be fair. Moving on and down, Secretary of the Treasury, Steve Mnuchin.
Oh my god, this guy's an asshole. Alright. Tell him.
I don't wanna dwell on Mnuchin because he's obviously the wrong person for this job, and we don't even need to talk about it. But he's a Wall Street banker.
We're doing this podcast so we can not only just say our opinions, but also say like, hey, if you don't know what's going on, we want to kind of help teach people, right? So,
well, to give you an idea of
we're not qualified for that, by the way.
The two of you that are listening, really should also do some research.
Yeah, do your own research.
Steve Mnuchin, for the Secretary of Treasury, is a well-known Wall Street banker who was part of the housing crisis, subprime mortgages. That was like his game. He kicked a 90-year-old lady out of his house over a 37-cent banking error. That was his fault. Not his fault personally, but their fault.
Yeah, it was the bank's fault. She offered to pay everything she owed, which, by the way, was nothing because it was the bank's accounting error, and he evicted her anyway.
Yeah, and she
took her house
because they could sell that house and therefore make money.
A lot more than 37 cents, in fact.
A lot more than 30. I would have, in fact, offered, had I known, to give them like $1.
Yeah.
That's like almost triple
That's
what they were owed.
Triple what they weren't even owed.
Yeah, almost triple what they weren't owed. And it's really super important to note that the idiot-in-chief owes about $1.5 billion in his company holdings to mostly banks, some of which Steve Mnuchin has sat on boards on.
Yeah, so it also might be a way to get out of his debts.
Could you imagine him going to Wells Fargo and being like, even though I owe you $300 million, I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to regulate the crap out of you because you guys are terrible people and you need to be reined in. Can you imagine that?
No.
Yeah, probably not, right?
No, I can't.
This is happening.
He's
the for-profit president, and Steve Mnuchin is proof that...
Steve Mnuchin, what was she, 97?
90.
90? Evicted a 90-year-old woman over a quarter, a dime, and 2 pennies.
That she did not even owe the bank.
Yep.
Okay.
This is a garbage person.
Yeah, just
piece who of I shit. Would not even hire to be a garbage person.
I mean, he would find a
it's too job. Too close to government.
He would find that job so below him and disgusting that I'd like to make him do it, in fact. And then, in my personal opinion, the worst idea that anybody has ever had, ever.
That depends on your point of view, but I agree with you.
I'm being serious talking about this woman. Like, I start to shake. I feel nothing but hatred for her in general. She is a villain. She is evil. She is a Sith.
We're going to talk most about her.
I just... Secretary of Education, Betsy fucking DeVos. You have to be fucking kidding me. The woman who gave over 200... Her family gave over $200 million to the Republican Party. The woman who never went to a public school in her life, not even a public college. The woman who says she does not believe in public education, and the woman that would like to privatize public education for your Secretary of the Department of Education. What the actual fuck are we doing?
Yeah, so this one pisses me off more than any of the other ones as well, because I think we really need to value education in this country. We are currently like 28th in the world in education when we should be at very least 2.
We should every single year compete with China.
Yeah, we should be... We have everything that we need to be the smartest nation, and wouldn't you guess it, the fucking Republicans always, every time it's Republicans, want to make us stupid because then we vote for them.
That's a very, very interesting point that I've thought of quite a lot. The Republicans get their votes from the disenfranchised, the uneducated, and the religious. And
let's all remember, Trump said he loves the undereducated.
That's obvious. I mean, he's appointing Betsy DeVos.
Yeah.
If Congress has a soul, if the people in Congress are actual people, which I don't believe they are, Betsy DeVos...
I'm going to say that Congress does have a soul. His name is Bernie Sanders, but I don't think he's enough.
If Betsy DeVos is allowed to be in that position, in charge of, public education, you might as well move.
Yeah, just go to a different country so you can have your kids educated. She doesn't support equal accountability for all schools that receive government funding because she wants private schools to get government funding, and she loves private schools. She wants them to be able to do whatever they want. Specifically Christian schools.
We both come at this from the perspective of atheism.
Perspective of atheism and, in my case, higher education student.
I mean, I love higher education as well. I just couldn't afford it.
Yeah, well.
Which is not going to get any better under Betsy motherfucking DeVos.
In fact, it will get worse because she flat out said she doesn't want free college education. She said to Bernie Sanders, "We could work together to help make college more affordable."
She won't make college more affordable.
And you could see just by the look in her face that she's lying through her fucking teeth.
It hurt her to say. I truthfully believe.
Yes.
We could go on forever.
We could do a whole podcast just about how Betsy DeVos needs to die in a fire.
I promise you, if she is allowed that position, we will do a podcast. It will be titled Betsy DeVos Needs to Die in a Fire, and we will spend at least an hour talking about...
Okay, maybe not Betsy DeVos Needs to Die in a Fire, because then Trump will see it, and he'll be like, CIA spy on these kids.
I'll take it. And she is evil. She should not be allowed within 1,000 feet of a public school.
She should be...
She wouldn't go 1,000.
She should live, like, in the wilderness in Alaska.
Oh, you want to send her to Mrs. Palin, huh?
Yeah, why not?
But there's public.
Palin's got a pretty nice house. I'm
There's
sure
public-
they have an extra room there.
There's public schools in Alaska. I don't
Yeah,
want her
but
there.
like in the middle of the wilderness.
We should take her out to. No, I don't want to advocate murder. She's.
Don't advocate murder.
Yeah, please. Murder's not okay.
Violence is not good.
No. Betsy DeVos is just
A terrible person.
terrible. 100%. Just not.
Betsy DeVos. Fuck you.
She is the least qualified person for the position that she's taking.
Well, that's kind of a theme with Donald Trump's cabinet picks.
You can.
It's if you can find a rich person, they have to be rich, they have to be a millionaire, and who hates a certain department, put them in charge of that department.
Okay, but like Jeff Sessions, technically a lawyer. Rex Tillerson has probably talked to people before in his life. Steve Mnuchin has touched money before. Rick Perry has turned appliances on. Betsy DeVos hates public education.
Has not gone to a public school, didn't send her kids to public schools, spent millions of dollars trying to end public schools.
And in an interview said that her being in charge of public education could really, really benefit the kingdom of God.
Well, that is interesting, and well, if she gets, we'll talk more about that if she gets confirmed.
I'm a big proponent of teaching science in science class, and I'm pretty sure that if she's put in charge of education, the entire science class will be like so.
I swear to God, if they start teaching creationism in public schools,
they're already teaching creationism.
I know, but like mandate by law, I will. I don't know what I'll do.
That's the end of America right there.
But it will not be good.
Just give up on science. Just give up on it. I mean, science and math and, smart people. Just give up on them. No, they don't need to exist. They can go to Canada or the United Kingdom or France or Germany, someplace where they might have a chance.
Yeah, well, Germany's pretty nice, actually, for education.
Yeah, but you gotta learn German.
That's true, but I mean,
I would rather kids learn German and go through German education than
Germany is one of the top countries for green energy too.
I would rather send every kid in the United States to Germany to learn from German education than have one kid have to stand in the same room as Betsy DeVos.
And they won't even learn about the Holocaust there. They don't teach that in Germany.
Really?
They skip entirely over it. Yeah.
Huh. I mean, that's a different topic. I completely disagree. But I at least understand what they were thinking.
All right. Is that the last of the
those no
required confirmations?
Those, we have hope because those people are absolutely terrible and should not be in the positions that they have been nominated for. But they have only been nominated. They have had intense hearings where all of them, except for Rick Perry, have been made to seem like assholes and imbeciles.
No, Rick Perry too.
They didn't grow Rick Perry like they grow.
They didn't grow Rick Perry like
Rick Perry is one of them. Rick Perry will get confirmed.
I know, but like
Rick Perry and Ben Carson.
They still didn't take it easy on him.
No, Rick Perry and Ben Carson, I guarantee, will get confirmed because they are establishment Republicans. They're just crazy. Sessions, Tillerson, Mnuchin, and DeVos. There is a chance.
There's a chance. Not a good chance, but a chance. And I'm kind of worried, like, if they don't get confirmed, if Trump will just be like, all right, I'll find someone worse. But I don't know if Trump's that smart.
There's nobody worse than Betsy DeVos. I'm willing to stake money on it that they could not find a worse person for education than Betsy DeVos.
I will agree with that, but also say they can find worse people for the other ones.
Mnuchin's pretty bad. Sessions is very terrible. Tillerson, they could do worse. Perry, they could do worse. Carson, they could do worse. Mnuchin, they could probably do worse. But there's no way. There have been 2 confirmations already. John F. Kelly for Homeland Security. That's not great, but that confirmation went quickly because
what are his thoughts on spying?
Oh, he's all for it.
He's all for it?
But
all right, well, fuck that guy then.
But that's... You're not going to get much, so you take what you can get. He could have probably found somebody way worse for that. And then General Mattis has been confirmed as the Secretary of Defense. I don't have a problem with it.
It's about as good as you could hope for Trump.
I would take it for any Republican, honestly. I'd probably take it for most moderate Democrats. Yes, he is for war, which we're both very against. Collin even more so than I am. But James Mattis is...
If you continue to listen to the podcast, you will feel my full... You'll hear my full thoughts on war, and there's a lot of them, and none of them are good.
Yeah, but James Mattis hits a few things that I think are important for if we're going to use the military. Wants to move women into combat roles should they want to, and would like to allow for transgender individuals to serve openly in the Army. Basically says, I don't care what's going on with you. If you can shoot really well and if you're a good soldier, you'll be part of the Army. And in a way, that's really humanist.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
James Mattis likes war. He's been in the Army for his entire professional career. The most qualified of any of Donald Trump's picks, and I am personally okay. Now, I mean, I would appoint Bernie Sanders for every single cabinet pick and call it a day, but that's just...
That's stretching him a bit thin, don't you think?
He would do it for us. And now...
I'm sure he would, but...
For a few of the people, and we're not going to go through all of them, that don't require Senate confirmation that Trump gets to do what he wants. National Security Advisor Michael Flynn technically cannot even hold that position.
Really?
Yeah, you need to. I think it's 7 years that you need to be out of the Army, and he's only been out of the Army for 3 before you can hold a position.
That's interesting.
Nobody's gonna call him on it.
No one's gonna call him on it because the Democrats are weak. But
Senior Advisor Jared Kushner.
Nepotism at its finest.
Yeah, it's Ivanka, right?
Yes. I think
just
so.
Married to his daughter, the one that he wants to have sex with.
Yeah.
No big deal. He's just gonna be a senior advisor. Reince Priebus, he's just a Republican.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
He's a bad Republican, but he's not.
He's just a dude.
Not the most inflammatory person. Kellyanne Conway, as a counselor, ran his campaign. For what it's worth, did a fantastic job. Obviously.
Yeah, she won, but didn't she only step in at the end though?
Yeah, she took over.
So many people ran his campaign, it's hard to keep track.
But still, she won, and she gets a counselor spot for it. I guess that's what you take. The really, 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 really scary one. Chief Strategist Stephen Bannon.
Former head of Breitbart News, right?
Current head of Breitbart News.
Current head of Breitbart News.
I don't think he stepped down.
I thought he stepped down.
I don't know, but I haven't heard that. A crazy Republican, a probably white nationalist neo-Nazi from what I've read.
It sounds like it, yeah.
And chief strategist, he's the one that gets to whisper in Donald Trump's ear sweet nothings as he makes decisions about who to incarcerate, who to fire nukes at, what to make illegal, what religion to make legal and required in the country. Just all of the important things. Has a huge role in Trump's government. Big fan. Huge, enormous, tremendous person, apparently. You looking up if he stepped down?
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah,
so it looks like he hasn't stepped down. Which, holy shit.
You should...
The whole,
You should drink a bottle of Jaeger and then read Breitbart News.
Or don't drink a bottle of Jaeger, because afterwards you'll want one.
You should drink half a bottle of Jaeger and read Breitbart, and then
finish it off.
Bomb the rest of that, completely. That's scary. That's almost as scary. No, that's not even as close to as scary as Betsy DeVos. he might be a white nationalist, but she doesn't believe in climate change, evolution, or public schools.
Just a quick disclaimer. Bearded Bards podcast does not condone binge drinking.
50% of the Bearded Bards Progressive Cast does not, binge drinking. The other half would like you to know that you can solve your problems by any means necessary.
You do what you want, but don't do it because we told you to.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, I say do what you want. Please don't do heroin.
That's bad. People die.
But if you need to drink an entire bottle of Jaeger because Steve Bannon is an asshat, I understand. I'm with you there, brother. Like, I get it.
Yeah. Just don't do it because we told you to, because we're just dudes.
I mean, I know how I solve my problems. I don't know how you solve your problems. And also,
I read a book.
Another disclaimer: please don't drink Jaeger. It's so terrible. Moving on. And then the actual president of the United States. We should talk about that appointment as well. The person that's in charge of, two.
You call it an appointment, but it was kind of more of an election that he didn't win, but kind of won anyway.
Didn't win. Did win. Wasn't the head of it, but has probably all of the decision power. Vice President Mike Pence, formerly the governor of Indiana. Remember, Donald Trump said that the vice president should have a big part of government. He should be in charge of two main categories, domestic policy and foreign policy.
Yeah, that's...
You know what doesn't cover that Donald Trump's saving for himself?
What?
Space. So,
I will govern the moon. There's an American flag up there. It's ours. Except at this point, actually, that American flag is bleached white from the sun. But
the American flag is not waving a white flag on
yes,
the moon. Not waving, stoically standing stiff.
Perfectly stiff.
Yeah,
it's a real flag.
And
there's just no wind.
No wind and no atmosphere to prevent it from sun bleach.
Yep. So it's white now. Perfectly white.
However, we own it. It's ours. And that's what Donald Trump's actually in charge of.
Technically, the flag actually at this point is closer to a Japanese flag.
You know what? We should make it a white flag with a tiny dot in the left-hand corner, and it can be the Bearded Bards flag, and that's on the moon.
Maybe. That is...
Because you can't prove to me that there's not a microscopic black dot on the flag on the moon. You can't prove it. You can make a really good case that it's not, but...
There's a very tiny dot.
And that was us. We went to the moon. But yeah, Mike Pence.
With a pen. We just put it...
Whose government instituted a law in his home state saying that you could be as biased as you want towards gay people because it violates your religion that other people are gay.
Yeah.
Mike Pence, who once made a joke about electroshock therapy to convert people to heterosexual.
Actually, it wasn't a joke. He shifted funds into gay conversion therapy.
I'm gonna
from actual from AIDS research, I think.
For the sake of my mental sanity, for as terrible as yesterday was technically 12:06, I'm gonna go with he was joking the whole time, and the funds moving was a joke.
The funds moving though actually happened.
I know it was a joke.
That's a thing on the books in Indiana.
It was a joke that happened, that he actually moved the money. He was joking because he definitely didn't want to stick rods in people's brains and shock them into liking the opposite sex. Just stay with me here.
I just want someone to talk to Mike Pence and be like, okay, so you think you can shock people straight? Does that mean that someone can shock you gay? Huh? I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just reverse it.
We'll stick pictures of ripped, manly men in front of Mike Pence and shock his brain until he really enjoys it.
Yeah, until he starts masturbating.
I mean, you never know. I subscribe to the theory that most people that are really outspokenly homophobic
are blowing a dude in a bathroom,
or at least
at a Denny's,
or at least really want to. that's how I feel. So Mike Pence, like, if you got to work through some stuff, you can call me up, we can talk. I'd like to help you out there, because it's obvious that you're struggling with your identity a little bit. We can.
Yeah, we're progressives. We won't judge.
No, we actually
you can come on our show, and we can work things out. Man.
We'll throw you a coming out party. We'll get you some strippers, some male strippers. You'll probably really enjoy that.
There's a club down the road.
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't know this area very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can help you out there, but I definitely subscribe to the theory that most people that are incredibly anti-homosexual really, 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 really want to be homosexual.
Yeah. They want to be open about it.
But they can't, because it's against their religion. Religion poisons everything.
One second before we move on. They did a study, and gay porn is most popular in theocratic governments. Where it's completely banned.
You heard it here, folks. God makes you gay.
God makes you gay.
Just gay for Jesus.
And Jesus is watching you. Except most of these governments are Islamic, so Allah is watching you.
Muhammad be with you.
Muhammad is watching you jerk off.
He's probably
to other dudes.
You might want to be careful. You don't want to get, violently murdered by jihadists. You haven't drawn him yet.
I'm not too concerned about that. Well, let's move on.
Just quickly, for as much as I loathe Mike Pence and think that he is a terrible person, a terrible politician, if Trump gets impeached, I will celebrate President Pence. I will stand behind him. I will support him through the hardships, and then hopefully we can impeach him also. Because
I will stand behind him until he starts doing something fucked up, and then I'll push him down the stairs. And then I'll stand behind him again. Look, I'm not going to... All right. I'm going to support Donald Trump when he does good things. And when he doesn't, I will fight him.
Agreed. I will give Donald Trump credit where it's due, and I will... If he does things like 35%...
Like, we just did our episode... before we started this one, we did our episode on Obama, and I think we both have an overall fairly favorable view of Obama. I think more middle of the road. But I think just because of who came before him and who's coming after him, history will see him as one of the greats.
Yeah, they'll carve his head on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. So, look, Obama ran as a progressive, and we're both progressive. So, we sort of had a really good idea. We were very hopeful about Obama, and we kind of rip him to shreds. When he does good things, yeah, it's great. Thanks, Obama. Not ironically, when he does bad things, no, you have to answer for this. And I don't think he had to enough.
I take pretty much the same approach with Donald Trump. He started November 9th with a clean slate, and while I was scared, and
he didn't for me. He started in 2015 with a clean slate for me. It's piled on. I didn't say okay, he's been elected, maybe he was fucking with us, because I don't think Donald Trump is actually smart enough to put on that big of a facade. But
he I was scared but willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. His appointments have
made you regret that.
I've lost almost any hope.
Look, if he does something good, he does a massive infrastructure project. We will be the first ones. Okay, maybe not the first ones because we're not going to record that often, but
you'll hear us.
You will hear us say, "Hey, Trump, good job. You did it good. Congratulations."
And with all presidents, there will be some good and some bad. He will do good things. I firmly believe that the bad.
Hopefully,
I firmly believe the bad will far outweigh the good. But there will be at least a few things that we will agree with and we'll give him credit for. But
And when Trump leaves office, we're gonna do a sunset episode on him too.
it's gonna
So
be
we're gonna be taking notes throughout his entire presidency, good things, bad things, things, and we'll break it all down. If he does good things, we'll tell you.
We've got a lot of dreams for this podcast. Not that we expect anybody to watch.
Yeah, this is just going to be our personal. This is going to be our baby.
And hey, if you're enjoying it, that's awesome. And let's talk. Let's be internet friends.
Yeah, leave comments. We'll reply.
I think we got a few more things that we need to talk to. I kind of want to save his conflicts of interest for another time, another day, another segment, because we could talk a lot about it. And it's
we're already almost at an hour.
Yeah. The daily intel briefings and the fact that he's not about it. Let's just briefly touch on that.
Yeah. So, you wanna lead this one?
Sure. The job of the President of the United States requires that he stay informed on all of the most important, most top secret things that happen in the government, that happen with other countries. And in the morning, he wakes up, he grabs a bowl of cereal, and he gets a daily intelligence briefing. Donald Trump can probably get away with one every Tuesday in his mind.
In his mind.
Yeah, not in reality.
That is a distinction in his mind only, because in real life, that's not how it works.
Donald Trump expects to be able to work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and get through his entire presidency. The job of a president you do not clock. That's why you live at the White House.
It's the job of the president is to work 24/7 for 4 to 8 years.
Hopefully, in his case, much fewer. He's gonna commit an impeachable offense today, I assume.
Yeah. So he said he's taking a couple days off. He's taking the weekend off.
Oh yeah, the president got to take the weekend off.
The president is taking the weekend off, which makes no sense. Like, you can't do that. A
point of fairness. Once a year, the Obama family took a vacation.
Yes, but
and also
Obama still got the daily intelligence briefings. He was still running the country. He was just in a different place.
He just went to Hawaii and he conducted his business there, and he basically rented a hotel so that he could hang out at the beach with his family and also run the fucking country.
Yeah.
Now Trump is very, very, very old, and
yep.
My hope, I guess, is that Pence is getting daily intelligence briefings because he is good.
Yeah. Pence is getting them
because he's probably actually running the country.
Some of his cabinet picks are getting them,
and also
and his advisors
and his children, at least
and
Ivanka.
Is Ivanka getting them? I know he wanted her to, but I don't know if she actually is.
At first, I believe she is. At first, he wanted Eric, DJ, and Ivanka to all get briefings, but in order
to do that, he'd have to give his company to someone who's not related to him.
The president cannot have enormous, tremendous conflicts of interest. He is the president, therefore, he cannot have any conflicts of interest.
At all.
Terrible Trump voice. But he gave the company to
better than mine.
Eric and DJ, and I'm not going to call him Donald Jr. ever. DJ is just way better. And Ivanka lives at the White House, so I'm assuming she's actually getting daily press briefings. And between Priebus, Ivanka, and Mike Pence, those are the people that actually run your government.
Yeah. I mean, I think going back to Pence for a bit, if Trump does get kicked out of office, I think Pence will be a better president. I don't think he'll be a good president, but
Pence will go with him.
Will he? You think so?
Let me tell you why. The progression goes from president to vice to speaker of the House.
Yeah, and so then it will be Paul Ryan.
And while Paul Ryan says,
unless by that time Speaker of the House is not a Republican.
I don't think they'd flip it. I don't think they have the numbers to flip the House. The Senate, they might be able to, but the House is...
Well, I mean, it's 2 years away, so we don't know that yet.
We know the seats that are opening up, and the math I don't think supports it. Also, in 4 years, I will be running for Speaker of the House in my district in Michigan. Because, You know.
Or just the House, you mean?
Yeah, the House. I don't think I'll be Speaker. The House. I'll be running.
I don't think you'll be Speaker.
You don't know. I mean, I got words. I got the best words. I might be able to speak for the House.
In 4 years, I'll be almost graduated, so, you know.
Yeah, but you have to be 25 to run for House, and so in 4 years, I'm going to run for House.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would then be... I would have to take a pay cut, but if you want me to be an advisor,
I mean, I don't know if I'd pay you. I just have your cell phone number.
It's true. It's true.
I'd pay you. You realize they get almost $1 million to pay their staff?
Yeah.
But I mean, as a House Speaker. But nobody...
We'll still do the podcast if you're in Congress, though.
Yeah, we will, because people will listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this podcast probably precludes me from, like... I am probably no longer able to be a congressperson, but hopefully by then the establishment will be so fucked that people with actual ideas and that actually care about actual people will be able to get in. I think that what Congress needs is somebody that is actually willing to stand up for them, somebody that's willing to talk for 12 hours straight in order to block a cabinet pick, somebody that will not let it go.
Yeah, I like Kyle from Secular Talk.
Yes.
He was talking about, like, if he was in Congress, he would invent
a new filibuster. I do not.
He would invent filibusters.
I do not yield my time.
For cabinet
hearings. There's no filibuster hearing, so I will not yield my time. I will not yield my time. I will continue talking, and I will not yield my time.
And you will answer my questions.
Or I will continue asking them.
And we will be here all goddamn night if we have to.
And I will keep talking. I will drink my coffee, and I will not yield my time.
Yep. But to do that, you have to have someone to go get you coffee and.
I got a brother to hire.
Yeah. Well.
Hopefully someday, if you ever find yourself interested, we can sit in a Senate chair. In a committee.
I would not be opposed to running for Congress.
If by that time people like us are allowed to run for Congress.
We're allowed to run now. We just
no. If we're allowed to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Last thing that we can talk about since we got off track there, like we do. Quick thoughts on your expectations for the remaining time Trump is in office.
Okay. Next 3 years, 364 days.
I mean, if you want to start with year one, I think an impeachment would take at least 2 years.
I'm not going to count on an impeachment.
I don't.
I just see it as a possibility. But all right. So what I expect the environment to go to shit. I expect foreign powers to start laughing at us more than they already do. And it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be bad. Aside from my main concern is the environment. We can fix other things, but the environment he can do irreparable damage to.
See, I disagree. There are other things that we can't fix too. Betsy DeVos is allowed in education.
Yes,
people will be irreparably stupider.
She can seriously fuck up education and make 4 years of students real dumb. And that's probably what's going to happen, which is why we say, hey, don't have kids anytime soon.
Not a good climate for children.
If you're listening to this, chances are you're probably smart enough to homeschool, so maybe consider that. But
or just don't have kids. Anything else you want to highlight?
I mean, healthcare is going to not be good. He's going to privatize healthcare entirely again. Send it back to what it was in 2008, which was terrible. The economy is going to go to shit again. And this is best case scenario for me. It's just the economy and the environment and education.
I have two sets of predictions. One a little bit later and one a little bit heavier. I guess it's maybe more of a hope, but I truthfully believe that at least some of these terrible people will not be allowed to serve
There is a hope. All right. Not only that they're not going to be allowed to serve, but that Trump cares too much about his image, and so he doesn't do all of the terrible things he wants to do because they're unpopular.
It's possible. I am. We're basically betting the future on Reince Priebus, on Pence, and on the ability of the Senate to come together against actually crazy things. There are 59 Republicans and 49 Democrats. The Democrats have become very outspoken in the past couple weeks. They are saying a lot of things that make me feel as if there's hope that they will block. They've in fact said that Donald Trump will not be allowed to put anybody in the cabinet for 4 years. Normally, I would say that's a terrible thing, but considering what the Republicans did with Obama's last appointee,
I hope they do. I hope that the Democrats in Congress can just be like, "Hey, Trump,
we're not even gonna
fuck
give this person
you're not president. Like, you're president, but only in title. Like, we're running the goddamn show now."
They can block they can get moderate Republicans to say this is crazy. They can align with people that are far more libertarian than Republican. They can.
Absolute best case scenario is they can block everyone until they're like, "Hey, this is who you're appointing. We will approve this person."
And I mean,
we make your cabinet choices for you.
As a progressive, at this point, I'm okay with actual Republicans being in charge.
Not Tea Party.
Not Tea Party. Not right wing. Not neocons. But actual, just center rights being in charge. And HW staff, the Reagan staff, people like that, I could handle. In fact, that would be the smart pick because Donald Trump would get another 4 years out of that.
Yeah, if he put the like Reagan staff in,
just people like it.
I mean, or the HW staff. Neither of them were terrible presidents. Like,
they were bad.
They were bad, but they weren't as bad as the Republicans that came after them.
I would praise at this point 4 more years of HW Daddy Bush, or 4 more years of crooked Clinton and his blacklight problems.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would go for Clinton. Is too corporatist. Like,
all Republicans are corporatist, and at this point,
Republicans are corporatist, but like
at this point in time, they might not wreck everything, the way that somebody like Trump trying to monopolize the presidency.
But see, the thing is that Clinton pretends to not be, and so I feel like that would do more damage than someone who's blatantly corporatist.
Well, the only good thing that can come out of these 4 years is that some bad things can get stopped, some worse things can get blocked, and some bad things happen to the point where the American people realize that there are people that would work for them. I mean, a lot of people that voted for Trump wanted to vote for Bernie, couldn't bring themselves to vote for Hillary. Our parents, who are super conservative, I don't think would have voted for Donald Trump over Bernie Sanders at the end of the day.
I don't think they would have either.
There's a lot of stories like that where this man is... It's crazy because we have not talked about grabbing them by the pussy and not even waiting.
I was actually like about when you stopped talking to say President Pussy Grabber.
We haven't talked about any of that. We haven't talked about very much of his debt. We haven't talked about anything that we talked about, like...
We have a list of things here, and we just spent so much time tearing the cabinet picks apart that...
Please don't look forward to the hour and a half Betsy DeVos special because I'd love to not have to record that.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that either.
I would honestly, at this point, and I'm being serious, he can have all of his other cabinet picks if they block DeVos.
Yeah, I'm not there. I'm not there.
I hate her that much.
If they block DeVos, Tillerson, and Sessions.
Yeah, deal. I'll give you Mnuchin. I'll give you Carson.
And everyone else, fine. But those three, they are the worst of the worst, in my mind.
We didn't even get to talk about Wilbur Ross or Andrew Putzer.
Yeah, or Scott Pruitt. Scott Pruitt's not good either.
I mean,
He spent most of his career suing the EPA, and now he's nominated to be the head of the EPA.
Yeah, Puzder doesn't believe in labor, and he's in charge of labor.
Yep.
Wilbur Ross is in charge of commerce, and he is, he's another Goldman Sachs. So believes in commerce so long as it affects the super rich. Tom Price in charge of health and human services. There's too many to talk about.
There's so many of them. It would be
I'll give
2-hour show on its own.
But I mean, honestly, just stop DeVos and we can start talking.
Yeah.
At this point, that would be enough of a win. She's disgusting, and just listen. She might be really great at parties. She might be like
what?
Maybe she throws a good party. I don't know, but she's cannot be in charge of education.
She's so against education that I can see her throwing a party and just walking around the party like, "Hey, so fuck schools, am I right?"
Public schools.
No,
she'll take private and
just fuck schools. Just fuck schools.
All right, we are running longer than I think anybody would ever want to listen to us for.
Yeah. So. All right.
It's a sad day. Try not to lose hope, even though it seems really frightening.
Yeah, it's not a good situation, but
yeah, it's pretty telling that we started this like we did the Obama episode and we were like really up and we were excited, and sometimes we were a little angry, and at the end of it we're just like, oh my god, can we please stop talking about Donald Trump?
Can I have another 4 years of Obama?
Can we just restart the whole thing?
Obama wasn't very good, but can we have 4 more years?
Obama looks like literally like presidential Jesus. Presidential Jesus.
Yep.
All right. You all stay sane.
There's more stuff we want to talk about. We might do more later. If you're listening to this, comment below if you want us to do more on Trump.
Are you gonna ask them to like and share?
I mean, share.
Because I'm not going to.
Look, you do what you want. I'm sure you know how YouTube works. So, if you want to support us, do the things that support us. If you don't, leave us a hate comment down below. We'd love to read it.
Quick plug for our hopeful future employers. Watch the Young Turks.
Yeah. They're pretty good people. They're not. I won't say I agree with them on everything, but
98% is pretty good.
Yeah. Secular Talk, we've mentioned him a couple times. Yeah. You wanna?
You should probably do that.
Yeah. I mean, they're smarter than us.
That's not saying much. All right, you guys have a fantastic, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Bye-bye.